Hi, I'm Tiya Joan. I'm a spoken word artist under Essence Music. I'll be giving you an insight on the pieces on my spoken word project titled Fierce Redemption. Okay, if I was to put it in another way, Fierce Redemption is like a radical transformation. It's basically about God taking me from a place of darkness and despair to a place of His light and His love. So that's what it's all about. Now that I'm captured, I finally feel free. For me, that line is like a juxtaposition of how I was that girl who didn't want to be a church girl. Like, I did church stuff at some point, but like, I didn't want to be born again. I didn't plan to be born again. But when I actually made the decision to come to Christ, like, that's the time that I felt most free and most happy. I would say that it's my go-to theme. It's the theme that runs under every piece that I do, through every song that I do. So that's why I made it the center, the theme for my project. With Scared, I wanted a piece where I could be more vulnerable and more open about my struggles, about my insecurities. I try to do that as much as I can with every piece that I write, but with this one, I wanted to go all the way. Like, I wanted to just really mirror what was going through my mind. So that's what prompted me to write Scared. Whew. Okay, so with the first part where I was talking about what I'm scared of, that came first. Like, I wrote bits and pieces of it. Like, I'll just think of things that make me scared. And for the other part, I was like, okay, so I'm scared, but then what next? How does that really empower or help someone who's also scared? So I had to go back and write something else on what God's word really says about fear, about struggles, about insecurities. With the first part of the poem, people are usually quiet. So, but the response picks up later on with the piece. People engage more. People are more responsive as it mirrors what God's word says about us, as it's more empowering during the second part of the piece. Well, I was listening to a song done by Dietrich Haddon. It's titled Beautiful Soul. So somewhere in the song, he talks about, when I look at you, I see someone who's mastered the art of smiling. So that line intrigued me, like, art of smiling. I was intrigued by it, and I was like, what would that really mean for me, like, to master the art of smiling? So that's what I went with for the piece. The message that I want to bring is it's about hope. In life, we go through different phases, through different seasons. Sometimes there are happy seasons, sometimes there are dull and mundane seasons, and sometimes it's just really a dark place. But what I would say is that through it all, God's purpose for us is that we glorify Him by delighting in Him, that we find content and joy in Him. Though I've made mistakes, I can grow from them. And His mercies are renewed each and every morning. So in each and every single day, in any given moment, I can begin again. It was actually inspired by the gospel song Witness. Towards the end of the song, he talks about how if God has brought you out of something, that you should also be a witness of what God has brought you out of, so that someone else can actually see God's work in your life. So that actually challenged me to write about my own struggles with depression and self-esteem. So that's what inspired it. The defining lines for that piece would have to be, I'm a witness that he did this in me, and he can do it for you too. But only if you submit. You declare the work already finished as your past ceases to be the limit to your present and future. So for that, I was just basically trying to bring out my testimony and trying to say that no matter what struggle you faced, God is able to bring you out of that, and He's able to help you let your past go and help you to move on forward with your future.